Good morning and welcome to the channel. So this morning I'm going to talk about Harry Maguire and how Newcastle United, apparently Eddie Howe is interested in loaning Harry Maguire for the upcoming season. Now that's absolutely ridiculous. And naturally, United have said no. They don't want to loan Harry Maguire to a potential top four rival. And instead, they'd be looking for a full sale. I mean, Eddie Howe, why would he be interested in Harry Maguire? It kind of doesn't compute for me. Um, but he was looking for a temporary deal to take Harry Maguire to Newcastle United as one of their main or maybe a backup centre back uh, for next season, which is absolutely ridiculous. But as I said, United don't see any financial benefit in loaning him out to the likes of Newcastle United. It's rumoured that they would be interested in potentially loaning him out to a club that they don't see naturally competes with them. So let's say West Ham is a potential. Yeah, I know West Ham are in Europe next season, but that's through winning a cup. It's not through the fact of where they finished in the Prem at the end of the season. So yeah, another rumor is that he could join Aston Villa on loan. But as I said, no top four rival will get Harry Maguire unless they pay a reasonable fee. What that fee is, I have a fear that United have this thing where they'll offload players for stupidly low fees. Now, while I want to see the back of Maguire, I also want to see Ten Hag get some cash. I mean, there's no guarantee though that even if you've got 50 million, which is ridiculous, I don't think we'll get anywhere near close to 50 million for Harry Maguire. Well, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Ten Hag sells Maguire for 50 mil. Will he get that? Will he get that money, or will the club, on behalf of the Glazers, swallow some of that cash? And I think that can be said for all the potential sales this coming transfer window, which obviously is this coming Wednesday. And if you're interested, I've got a live stream coming up at 10:30 where I'm talking about the transfer window and who I see are the most likely signings. Well, I'll be asking you who you think the most likely signings are. But let's just get back to this story. And apparently, Harry Maguire moving on or not moving on from United this summer could affect other signings because it has been spoken about previously that Eric Ten Hag must sell before he can buy. Now, who knows that's true? I don't know if that's true. Do you? We don't, do we? But anyway, here's the story. The story is that United's hopes of signing Kim Min-jae could be put to bed or stopped completely by what Harry Maguire chooses to do this summer. Now, it's reported that he's reluctant in moving on from the club, and apparently United want the Napoli star Kim Min-jae, and they're only able to sanction a move if Maguire is sold on a permanent deal. But he's reportedly keen on staying at United next season, even though he's got a reduced role. And basically, if we get, or let's say we sign Kim Min-jae anyway, and him staying at the club doesn't affect, then he's probably not going to be on the bench either. Lindelof starts ahead of him. Kim Min-jae will start ahead of him, you'd assume. So Maguire's chances of playing football at United would further diminish. So it would probably benefit him to move on. But there is potentially a reason why he wouldn't want to move on. Why he wouldn't want to move on. I just wanted to point out that Leicester were probably, other than West Ham, were rumoured to be interested in a full buy. But Leicester were also. But obviously, relegation for them has kind of really put pay for that because you can't see Maguire wanting to move down into the Championship. And you wouldn't see Leicester now be thinking about outlaying multi-millions for a centre-back. But imagine this. Harry Maguire stays at United for money. Now, what am I talking about? Well, his current wages are around £200,000 a week. £200,000 a week for a player who plays a bit part role in the club on the pitch. And that alone will be difficult for Premier League or any other team in Europe to kind of match his wages. It's what he's used to being on. So Prem rivals anyway. I mean, West Ham were offering Declan Rice 200,000 to stay, and he turned that down. But anyway, um, yeah, where was I? So the fact another reason why Maguire. So the fact he's on £200,000 a week, but the fact that that United qualified for the Champions League, just a few weeks ago, means that the players will reportedly get a pay rise because of that qualification, and I think that will own. So Maguire will get a pay rise. So if he's on 200,000 a week now, what will he be on? I'm not going to make up a figure. I have no idea what that pay rise will be. But that can only make it more challenging for clubs wanting to sign Maguire because they have to compete with the wages he's already on. But if he stays at the club, and let's say it does affect the Kim Min-jae deal, um, and he knows, Maguire that is, knows that he's staying, he's got to sit on the bench and he's doing it for money. It's like, wow. I mean, pay him off, fuck him off. I mean, we don't want players like that at the club because they ultimately would affect the mentality of the young players coming through. But they're looking up at the senior players and they're thinking, he's a great, look how he trains. I want to be like him. I want to train like him. And then they look at people like Maguire and they're probably thinking, because obviously the rumours around the club, people talk, and it's been no different than any other workplace in that sense. So people talk about people, rumours throughout the club, and what are people going to be saying about Harry Maguire, and what influence will that have on the younger players in the squad? And for that reason, United should move heaven and earth to move him on. Literally move him on. I just he's dead weight, and this summer is supposed to be all about moving on the dead weight at the club. And the fact that he's still club captain, I think, is a little bit of a joke. Maybe stripping him of that, you know. I mean, stripping him of that will give him more of an indication. More, he has no God-given right to be the club captain, does he? At the end of the day, and I'm sure Eric Ten Hag, he's a nice guy, probably. Well, he seems to be a nice guy, and he's why has just can't understand why Harry Maguire is still the club captain, especially if you're not going to use him. You'd have thought that had gone to Bruno Fernandes by now. I know he's like the captain on the pitch until Maguire comes on, but I think there are other more deserving players, and I don't think there's a more deserving player than Bruno Fernandes to be the club captain right now. Um, for me, he's been, maybe not stand out in his technical ability on the pitch. Well, some could argue for and against that statement, but the fact is, he's a stalwart. He's been there, done it. He's Mr. Reliable for United, and I think those are the kind of players that younger team members and new signings, when you bring them into the squad, they look up to or they look for, as in like who's to respect in a squad. And I think Maguire is offering, from what I can see, nothing of that right now because he's not starting. He could potentially stay for money. And I think that just sets a bad precedent. And if you're trying to tidy up the squad and remove on dead weight after the previous managers, then you've got to be harsh, really harsh, and just get rid of them. Well. Anyway, that's it for this video. Please let me know what you think about anything I've said in the comments below. Won't be a second. Yeah, let me know about what you think about everything I've said in the comments below. And please smash a like on the video. And if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.